One of the most frequent questions that I get is that we're booking sales appointments, but we're not closing those sales appointments, okay? So one of the biggest challenges most businesses, entrepreneurs face is actually getting people to book in the calendar in the first place. Once you've figured that out, the second problem you're typically gonna have is that the people booking those calls aren't buying, right? You're not closing them, and it could be for a variety of different reasons that they give you on the sales call itself. We're not ready yet, I don't have the money, maybe they're just not qualified in a variety of different ways. And so what you want to be doing is trying to close more of these, but you also want to make sure that you're attracting the right quality type of people so that when they do jump on the call, they are ready to buy. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through why you're booking the sales calls that are unqualified in the first place and why you're not closing them and how you can fix that and what you can do about it. It's actually very simple because the way people buy today is very different to the way that they bought a decade and years and years ago. So what it comes down to is trust, first and foremost. And trust is built through two different avenues. The first one is through building relationships and rapport with the potential customer. And you can do that manually by sending direct messages, emailing, phone calls, going to networking events and things like that. Actually building a relationship with the customer, very underestimated. A lot of people, especially the younger generation, they don't want to go and do all this networking stuff because, of course, it's more scalable to create video content and just create content in general that attracts your ideal customer, but it should not be underestimated because if you go to these networking events and if you actually try and build real relationships with people, those people might typically be within big companies, and so you're going to be able to get your foot in the door. So don't underestimate the networking part. Building those relationships with people is super, super important. And if you're in the older generation, I'm talking like 28 plus, then you're going to have an edge over these kids that are growing up and they don't have the social skills that you and I might have, okay? So that's number one. The second way to build trust is through content, like I mentioned. So of course you can build one-on-one relationships with these people, these decision makers that you're trying to turn into customers. But the other way to do it is to create content in order to attract those people to you. This will build trust because the content that you create is going to answer almost all of their questions so that when they do book an appointment, not only are they going to be qualified, but they're going to have all of their questions answered so that they are ready to buy. Okay, they jump on the call and then really all they want to know is the price and the customized version or the customized solution for them, because every business, every entrepreneur thinks that their business is unique. Now, you and I both know that that isn't really true, because if you sell a service to a very specific industry vertical, most of the time the business is set up in the same way. They sell a service in the same way. Their systems and everything are pretty much the same. The only real difference between each business is the business owner behind the business itself. So you have to be able to customize the solution to them, or at least make them feel like it's customized. The point I'm trying to get at is that when they book a call, you want to make sure that they are already qualified and that they've consumed the right amount of content, or they've had the conversations with you, so that when they do book that sales appointment, they are ready to go more or less. This is the big difference between how people used to buy in the past compared to now, because most people will spend their time doing their own research about you, your business, your brand, your products, your services, your competitors' products and services before they even interact with a person from your team. And so you want to make sure that you have the right content in place that answers all of those questions before they book that call. And that content will also qualify them. So you can guarantee, almost guarantee, that the person booking the call is going to be qualified and ready to go on that sales call. Now, a lot of B2B companies come to me and they say, well, our sales cycles are long because there's multiple decision makers. The reason why they're long is because you don't have different pieces of content targeting different individuals within that organization who are in a position to make a decision, right? So you need to be able to create content that hits all targets. If you're only trying to sell to the CEO, well, that's a big mistake, especially if you're trying to target an enterprise company. You want to create content that also will target the CFO, maybe the CSO, the CIO, all these C-suite individuals, depending again on your product or service. It's not always the CEO. For a product or a service like marketing, for example, yes, you might target the CEO, but you're also going to be targeting the CFO, the CMO, maybe even the chief salesperson, right? The sales director, business development manager. Because marketing, if you're selling like a product or a service, a marketing product or service is going to be able to help all of those individuals do their job better and, hit those KPIs that they're trying to hit, right? So your content is going to be used as a way to attract those people. So the reason why you're not closing sales calls is, first and foremost, you're not building enough trust with people. But let's say that you are doing that. Let's say you're building enough trust. What is it about the sales call itself that can be improved? Firstly, if you don't have a sales deck or a sales presentation that pinpoints the typical problems that your ideal customers have, this is one of the biggest reasons why you're not closing the deal, because they feel like they are unheard. They feel like they've come to you, they've read your content or they've watched your content, they've come to you, they've explained their problem. If you're doing your sales calls right, you get them to explain the problem, and you're not really clearly identifying that problem, and they don't feel heard. So they feel like you don't truly understand what it is that they're coming to you for. Even though you probably do, you need to be able to voice that to them on the call. You need to repeat back the same words, the same terminology that they give you on the call when they're explaining things, so that you can make sure that it's very obvious that you understand exactly what kind of pain they're going through, and so that you can align your product, your service, your solution directly to solving that pain. If you can't do this, then people are going to get off the call because they're going to feel like they're just not heard. Like your product, your service, it doesn't really match them. Maybe it's too generalized, maybe it's too cut, copy and paste, and so they won't feel like there's a customized product or service or solution to them. Obviously, this only really translates to companies or entrepreneurs that sell a high ticket product or service, because if you just sell, a software or something small, low ticket, then typically it's just like a cut and paste solution, right? But usually if you're selling something for 5K a month, 10K a month, 20K, 100K a year, whatever it is, then you need to be able to customize that to the client, or at least make them feel like it's customized to them. That is the biggest thing here, building trust and making sure that you align your product or service to the problem that they have directly when they book that sales call. Because the whole reason that you have a sales call is because people want to have that customized or tailored product or service specifically for them. Even though typically you do copy and paste most of the workload, they have to be felt and understood or heard. This is the reason why you're not closing those deals. Number one, you're not building enough trust. Number two, when building that trust, you're not qualifying individuals correctly. It's another big one. A lot of people might be booking calls with you, but they're just not qualified. It's because you're doing something wrong in your content. You're not identifying what qualifies them to be booking that appointment, okay? And number three, you don't have a very good presentation, or you don't have a very good system or process in place on the sales call itself, which identifies that particular prospect's problem and aligns your solution to that problem. If you do all of those things right, you're gonna be closing much more often, and you're gonna be closing much bigger deals, and you're gonna be doing it without a long sales cycle. So if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.